I booked the room because it was cheap. I stayed because the corpse in the bathtub was me. The rain had been chasing my car for hours, drumming on the windshield until the wipers were just a nervous tick. The highway was empty. No headlights, no taillights, just black road and white lines stretching into nowhere. When the sign finally appeared through the rain, it felt less like luck and more like a dare. Rainvale Motel. Vacancy. The neon flickered, letters dying and reviving in a tired loop. I pulled into the lot. 3 cars sat there, coated in a strange, dusty film the rain couldn't wash off. I killed the engine and checked my phone. 3:17 a.m. Battery at 17%. I was too tired to keep driving, too wired to sleep in the car. So I told myself what everyone tells themselves when they make a bad decision in the dark. It's just one night. The lobby door chimed when I pushed it open. Inside, the air smelled like old coffee, bleach, and something faintly sweet, like cheap air freshener losing a fight. The front desk was a long, scratched counter with a brass bell. I rang it. The sound was too loud in the empty room. The clock above the desk also said 3:17 a.m. The second hand wasn't moving. "Be right there," a voice called from the back. The man who came out looked like he hadn't left the building in years. Pale, thin, eyes a little too steady. His name tag simply said manager. "Long drive?" he asked. "Yeah. Just need a room." He studied me for a second, then reached under the counter and set down an old brass key with a plastic tag. "Room 10. You look like a 10. I didn't ask what that meant. He slid a leather-bound guest book toward me. "Just sign in." I glanced down. The line waiting for my name was already filled out. My full name, my address, tonight's date. The ink looked dry. My throat tightened. "This is already filled in." "That's just how we do it," he said, smiling without his eyes. "Makes things easier." I should have walked out. Instead, I signed my name right under my own handwriting. "Coffee in the morning," he said. "If you're still here." I tried to laugh. He didn't. "If you hear knocking on the wrong door tonight," he added, "just ignore it." I couldn't tell if he was joking. The hallway was long and narrow, lined with faded brown doors and humming ceiling lights. The carpet was patterned with shapes that might have been flowers once, now just stains hiding as decor. Room 2. Room 4. Room 6. Room 10 was halfway down, on the right. The door was slightly open, latch resting against the frame like it had been left for me. "Hello?" I called softly. No answer. I nudged it open. The room was small but normal enough. Double bed, ugly floral comforter, a bolted down TV, a small table by the window, curtains drawn tight against the neon glow outside. My shoulders dropped. It was just a room. Old, tired, but a room. I dumped my bag on the chair and went straight for the bathroom, already imagining cold water on my face. The light buzzed on, too bright, too harsh. The bathtub was half full. The water was cloudy, tinged gray. Something pale floated just under the surface. For a second, my brain decided it was a trick of the light. A shadow. A reflection. Anything else. Then I saw a face. My face. My own eyes staring up through the water, slack and open. My own mouth hanging slightly open. My own hair plastered to my forehead. I froze. Sound dropped out like someone had muted the world. "No," I whispered. "No, no, no." I grabbed the side of the tub and leaned closer, every part of me screaming to run but not listening. The body was wearing my clothes. The same jacket. The same shirt. The same little stain near the cuff where I'd spilled coffee earlier. I reached into the water with shaking hands and touched the skin of the other me. It was cold. Not ice cold. Not fresh. There was a wallet on the floor, half soaked. My wallet. I picked it up with numb fingers and flipped it open. My ID stared back at me, warped by water. I stumbled backward, hitting the sink so hard it rattled. The motel room spun around me. How? My phone vibrated in my pocket. I yanked it out like it might have answers. The screen lit up. 3:17 a.m. No signal. In the reflection of the bathroom mirror, I saw the tub behind me. The other me. Floating. Watching. Something inside me snapped. I bolted from the bathroom, stumbling into the bedroom, then yanked the door open and sprinted into the hallway. The corridor seemed longer now, stretched. The lights hummed louder. I pounded on the manager's door behind the front desk until it flew open. He stood there, still pale, still calm, as if he'd been waiting. "There's a body in my room," I shouted. "In the tub. It's me. It looks like me. What is this? What kind of sick joke are you playing?" The manager looked at me for a long moment, then glanced at the lobby clock. 3:17 a.m. "Room 10, he said quietly. "You went straight there?" "Yes." He sighed softly, like a teacher disappointed in a student. "You really should have gone to sleep first." "What are you talking about?" "You were exhausted," he said. "You were scared. Things look like other things in the middle of the night. That's all. Take a breath." "You don't understand," I insisted. "It's me. It is literally me in that tub. My face. My clothes. My wallet." He tilted his head. "Did you try leaving?" "What?" "Leaving," he repeated. "Your car. The road. Did you try?" I stared at him, chest heaving. I hadn't. I'd run straight to him. "Go ahead," he said softly. "If you want this to be a prank, prove it. Go outside. Drive away. If you can." He moved aside and gestured to the lobby door. The storm rumbled outside, flashing against the glass. My heart hammered. But the alternative was going back to that room. Back to that tub. I pushed through the door and stepped into the rain. The parking lot glistened under the neon sign. My car sat exactly where I left it. I hit the key fob. The lights blinked. I slid into the driver's seat, hands shaking, and turned the key. The engine started. The radio crackled with static. "Just drive," I whispered to myself. "Get back on the highway. This place is messed up. That's all. Just drive." I pulled out of the lot, turned onto the road, and followed the reflective white lines into the dark. The motel shrank in the mirror, then vanished. Rain pounded the windshield. The wipers squeaked back and forth. After a minute, the road curved gently to the right. When I came out of the curve, the neon sign was ahead of me again. Rainvale Motel. Vacancy. I slammed on the brakes. The car skidded but stopped just before the driveway. I stared, mouth dry. I had driven straight. I hadn't turned around. And yet, here it was. The same 3 cars in the lot. The same flickering sign. The same dripping gutter over the lobby door. I checked my phone again. 3:17 a.m. Battery at 17%. The time hadn't moved. At all. I could feel my pulse in my throat, a thick, hot pounding that refused to line up with the frozen time on my screen. I turned the car around and drove the other way, past the motel this time, farther into the dark. The road stretched out, featureless. No exits, no gas stations, no houses. Just rain and asphalt. After what felt like 10 minutes, the road curved gently to the left. When I came out of the curve, the neon sign was ahead of me again. Rainvale Motel. Vacancy. My hand slipped on the steering wheel. The world tilted. This time, I didn't stop. I drove right past the entrance, watching the sign slide by in my peripheral vision. I didn't blink. I didn't breathe. The rain thickened, a gray curtain. The wipers beat faster. My eyes burned. Another curve. Rainvale Motel. Vacancy. I hit the brakes so hard my seat belt cut into my chest. I was back in front of the same driveway. Same cars. Same puddle reflecting the same buzzing sign. My phone lit up on its own. 3:17 a.m. The seconds, I realized, weren't frozen. They just didn't exist. I turned the car off, got out, and walked back into the lobby, soaked through. The manager hadn't moved. He looked at me over the counter like he'd been expecting the exact number of raindrops now dripping off my jacket. "Well?" he asked. "I can't leave," I said. My voice sounded small. "The road. It just loops." "That's because you're already checked in," he said gently. "And this place doesn't like to lose what it already has." "This is insane," I snapped. "There is a dead version of me in that room. You're going to call the police, or I swear." "The police are already on their way," he said, almost kindly. "Just not here. Not for you." I stared at him. He tapped the guest book with one finger. Do you remember how you got off the highway? Yes. I saw the sign and... Before that, he interrupted patiently. Do you remember the last mile? The rain? The car in the other lane? A flash of something bright, a horn, lights too close, the screech of tires on wet asphalt. My fingers tightening on the wheel. For a second, everything in my head went white. Then the motel sign. The empty lot. The relief. I swallowed hard. I didn't crash, I said. I didn't. I'm here. You are, he agreed. Just. Not where you think. My legs went weak. I gripped the counter. What is this place? He gave a thin, tired smile. Rainvale is for people who kept driving past the exit, he said. The ones who were too tired, too angry, too distracted. People who should have stopped a mile earlier. You didn't. So you stopped here instead. That doesn't make any sense. Go back to your room, he said softly. Really look at the body this time. Not like it's a trick. Like it's a memory. I'm not going back in there. If you don't, he said, you'll just keep driving in circles out there. Some guests do. For years, from their point of view. The road, the rain, the sign. Over and over. Until they're ready to see themselves. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't threaten. He just sounded unbearably tired. My legs moved without my permission. Back down the hallway. Back past the humming lights and the stained carpet and the buzzing fly. Room 10 waited for me, door still ajar. Inside, the room was exactly how I'd left it. Bag on the chair. Bedspread rumpled. The bathroom light glared at me. I stepped inside. The tub was still half full. The body was still there. Only now, the details were sharper. A dark smear on the forehead. A bruise creeping along the neck. The angle of one arm, crooked in a way that didn't belong to water. I saw glass in the hair. Tiny shards, glittering in the bathroom light. I remembered windshield glass. My heart hammered as I stared at my own face in the water. I heard distant voices. Muffled. Urgent. Not from the hallway. From somewhere beneath everything. Male, mid-20s, unresponsive. Pulse is thready. Get the collar on. Watch the head. I gripped the edge of the tub, and for a moment, the motel bathroom flickered. The cracked tiles became smeared asphalt. The overhead light became flashing red and blue. Then it snapped back. Damp motel. Buzzing bulb. You were between things, the manager's voice said from the doorway. I jumped, splashing water onto the floor. He stood just outside the bathroom, hands folded. You were not dead yet, he said. Not completely. That's why it hurts. That's why you still feel the rain. If I'm not dead, I said, then I can leave. You can let go, he corrected. Leaving is different. He nodded toward the tub. They're trying very hard out there. You were going too fast. You fell asleep for half a second. That's all it takes. You hit the guardrail, then the ditch. You've been lying in the rain on the side of that road for about 3 minutes. My knees shook. 3 minutes? On their side, he said. On this side, as long as it takes. I looked at the other me. The water lapped gently against my cheek. It looked like I was just resting. You can fight, the manager said quietly. Some do. They claw their way back. They wake up in a hospital with tubes and scars and pain that fills every second. Sometimes they make it. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they wish they hadn't. He paused. Or, he added, you can check out properly. We open the drain. You sink. The rain stops. You don't have to be tired anymore. The room felt suddenly smaller, tighter. The air heavier. You mean die, I said. I mean finish what already started, he replied. The choice is yours. For once, no one can rush you. Not the EMTs. Not the other driver. Not the clock. I listened. Really listened. Under the hum of the motel, under the buzz of the light, under the soft slap of water, I could hear them. Faintly. Stay with me, sir. Stay with me. Pupils sluggish. We're losing him. A tear slid down my cheek, hot against the damp air. I don't want to die, I whispered. The manager nodded slowly. Then don't. Climb out of the tub. Turn away from yourself. Walk back down the hallway. Get in your car and drive until you wake up in pain. But if you choose that, you don't come back here. Not later. Not when it hurts more. You only get this stop once. And if I check out? He looked at the tub. Then you lie down. You stop fighting. You let the drain open. And the next time you hear rain, it will just be a sound you remember, not something on your skin. I stared at my own body in the water, at the broken glass in my hair, at the tiny bruise blooming along my jaw. The voices from the other side wavered. Charging. Clear. My chest tightened like someone was squeezing it from far away. I was running, I said hoarsely. From everything. From work. From her. From myself. I just wanted somewhere cheap and quiet. You found it, he said. I looked at him. Which would you pick? He smiled sadly. I picked a long time ago. I stayed. Someone has to keep the ledger. Lightning flashed outside the thin curtains. The neon sign buzzed. I put one hand on the edge of the tub, then the other. The water rippled around my reflection. For a long moment, I stayed like that, caught between two futures. Wet tile beneath my knees. Rain on my skin. Voices fading in and out like a bad signal. Then I made my choice. I will not tell you which one I chose. All I will tell you is this. If you ever find yourself driving too long, too late, in a storm that feels like it's waiting for you, and you see a tired neon sign for a motel that looks older than the road itself, check the time. If it's 3:17 a.m., keep driving. Because Rainvale Motel already has a room for you. And a body waiting in the tub. With your name on it.